And all praise, honor, glory to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, RACHAKWADASH, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and a sincere shalom to the Akim that's out there pushing the sincerity and the truth and the sound doctrine. This is going to be a really quick video. Only got about 5 minutes, so I'm going to just try to make this quick. I was just browsing through the internet a little bit, and, before the spirit leaves me, because, I'm that type where when I see it, I have to jump on it immediately, like when it's a video, unless it's like depending on the situation. All right. But in this case, it might leave me later. So, while the spirit is fresh and it's, that the thought is fresh in my mind, I'm like I said, I'm the type that gotta jump straight on it. All right. So, I was just looking at a video, a couple little videos, of course, our people doing what our people usually do on the internet, and off the internet too, you know. And I'll just say, man, us, especially as men, including myself too, we focus on, a lot of things. Let me say us, as just a people, people in general, men, women, whatever. We all focus on things that, we that shouldn't really require that much energy, and it's easier said than done. And like I said, I'm saying this for myself too. It's easier said than done. I can sit here and talk all that all throughout this video. I mean, all the time, man. But everyday life, we focus on a lot of things that we really can't control, versus the things that we can actually, work on. And the main thing that we can work on is being more spiritual, and being more in tune of the word of the Lord, Yahawah BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, pretty much. All right. Being, building our spirit, especially these times that's get ready to come down the wire, man. We focus on a lot of that stuff, man, and it's just like it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. So this Philippians chapter 4, verse 8. It says, finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just. Yeah. Whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are good of report, if there be any virtue and if there be any praise, think on these things. Now I'm going to get another one real quick. All right. Like I said, this is very, very important, man. Being watchmen, like I said, I'm just browsing, and it's just like there's a lot of stuff that we focus on that we really, really can't control. All right. We really can't, man. And some of those things y'all already know. I mean, that's why I'm not even mentioning anything specifically, because it's just, these are things, you just think of it, and it's just like, well, yeah, that's true. That's why I don't even have to mention it, especially us for us in the knowing. You don't even got to mention it, right? Luke 21:36, watch ye therefore, pray always, that you may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man. All right. So, we gotta watch and we gotta pray, and we like I said, I'm going to keep saying this. In a short amount of time, I've probably said this about 3-4 times already. This is talking about myself as well. All right. We have to stop focusing on things that we can't control and focus more on watching and praying. We could control the prayers and stuff like that, and well, like I said, we could work on that, right? Building our spirituality up. Those are things that we could work on. There are these times that we're in right now, we're approaching really, really dreadful times. And like I said, we don't have time to be dealing with stuff that we can't control. And like I said, those said things, I leave that up for you to know what they are, because everybody's got their own thing. You know what I mean? Everybody's got their own demon, so-called. Everybody's got their own issue. But the thing that is in common is that it is not unique. It's not unique. What is unique is the way, I don't even say that, the way that you handle it is not even unique. All right. This is how you always have people like elders set up, able to filter certain things, because these things that we go through, they're not unique. Right. But we all have our different problems. And some of these problems are things that you just cannot control. All right. And you got to accept that. You keep trying to control it or keep trying to focus on it, you're going to fall back in a ditch. So that's pretty much all I got on this, man. Giving all praise, honor, glory to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, Shalom.